Hi there! Thank you for joining us today for this interview for the Senior AI Engineer position. I'm excited to learn more about your experience and what you can bring to our team. Why don't you start by telling me a bit about yourself?
I'm Lee. I've been running my own startups for a while, App.nz and various other open source or kind of hosted AI solutions like Text Generator IO for language models, Manifold Gen for video models, and ebank.nz or network.com for kind of creative AI use cases, and building a lot of agents as well, like Codex Infinity, infinite coding agents.
Got
Yeah,
it.
so
So you've gotcha. You've been deep in the product side as well as the infrastructure, with your own stack of LLM tools and agents wired together. Staying on that, can you walk me through one LLM powered application you've built end to end recently, where you're proud of how it turned out?
yeah, I worked on the Microsoft Copilots, but a good one would be I worked at Compose AI, so I kind of architected this large LoRa training system where we have online learning, so that can help people do autocomplete. So we use some eval metrics, like how much of the string that someone's typing can you complete, and we used both like RAG and traditional kind of retrieval for this. These everyone's got these kind of rare tokens like their address, and so we would store those as well as then retrain LoRa's to fit for each person. So I'm happy with how it turned out. It's a very kind of smooth experience where we can collect context about what they're doing on any page, because it's a Chrome extension, and help people type or rephrase what they would say in a way that they would actually say it. And it's a good kind of continual learning example.
That continual learning loop with the Chrome extension context sounds really nice, especially the personal rare token handling like addresses and such. You're basically shaping a per user language model behavior over time. Sticking with that theme, outside of Compose and Copilot, what's another LLM powered app or agent you've built more recently in your own products that you're particularly proud of?
I think Network is good,
Smash your
netwrck.com,
audio check.
and that is more just creative or
Oh, network. Got it. I've seen a bit of that space with social AI and agents. It's really interesting as a systems problem too, just so I can picture what's one specific LLM powered experience inside Network that you personally designed and built end to end.
I built the whole thing. So one part is the search. So I kind of quantized the BERT embedding, so you can get down to 16 bits there, and then you can quantize the embeddings to get down to about 512 into 8. Then I kind of fused these search kernels as well as the embedding kernels into one kernel, so we can do like millisecond search of millions of things. So that search engine component is also what's driving the kind of memory, the longer term memory of the agents. So that's a pretty interesting part. Another interesting part is actually a character now with a depth based effects and kind of some 3D effects that's actually getting rendered as you speak to the character.
Millisecond, okay. So you're combining the quantized embeddings for super fast search, paired with the memory layer for long-term agent recall, and even rendering the AI character live as part of the interaction. That sounds really complex but rewarding. Taking that search layer, what was your biggest challenge in making it not just performant but reliable?
So we did a lot of performance, but we used some kind of eval metrics like NDCG at 10. So if you look at like reliable in terms of the quality, that's kind of driving some of that, and a kind of did some training and kind of optimized the quality to get good results there. The reliability often is driven by that latency, I think, because of it's kind of a very high traffic site. I have some restarts and such going so that it doesn't fill up the GPU memory. It only uses maybe a gigabyte of GPU memory for all of the embeddings, because they're always kind of stored on GPU. And then it uses a kind of a hierarchical navigable small world style algorithm where you can do it in parallel, so you can have multiple points in the space and you can search from all those points on the GPU. Get a bit of speed there, I guess.
That makes sense. You've really pushed the latency side hard while keeping recall quality under control with those evals and restarts to protect GPU memory. Staying on that theme, what tools or frameworks have you used specifically for retrieval augmented generation workflows?
Well, here I writ it in my own CUDA kernels. So I took it out of PyTorch and rewrit just the kernels that I needed, because it's actually an embedding bag model. It's got very simple kernels that just do like compare the intate inside the embeddings. So there's actually not that many kernels required. So I managed to remove the kind of gigabyte of torch. So it's all kind of custom CUDA C assembly to get the AVX 512. So it can run on the CPU as well, and I open sourced it.
Got it. So for that search and RAG style piece, you've really gone low level with custom CUDA and even AVX 512 on CPU instead of leaning on the usual libraries. For workflows where you're doing more classic RAG around LLMs, what tools or frameworks have you used to wire up retrieval plus generation, like vector stores or orchestration libraries?
Yeah, I've used quite a lot. So like LangChain or DSPy because it's got some kind of prompt optimization built in, and a lot of
nice.
The kind of stores such as Vertex AI or the Cloudflare, or like the Postgres with the built-in TS vector.
Using all of that as backdrop, I'd love to zoom out a bit. When you put these systems into production, how do you typically ensure reliability and performance day to day?
I have some monitoring around it. I actually do like agentic monitoring. So for my sites, an agent will actually come up and start debugging if there are too many, or any 500s, or even on the front end any errors there. So there's some security implications of that. So, it's pretty uncommon, but because it's a small startup, it's leaning on the side of needing a lot of reliability. It's actually driving a lot of the growth of the startup, being there's a lot of SEO use cases as well to have such a fast search engine.
You've wired your own agent to watch for errors and even start debugging. That's a pretty fun way to close the loop on reliability, especially for a small startup where you can move fast on fixes. On that monitoring setup, what are the main signals you look at regularly to judge if an AI feature is healthy in production?
It will both just do like surface level testing. Does this endpoint have a 200, and it will go into more advanced stuff, like it will drive the browser through the login and the payment process to make sure that those kind of critical paths are working.
That end-to-end drive it like a user testing for login and payments on top of basic uptime checks makes a lot of sense, especially when AI is sitting in the middle. Sticking with production issues, can you tell me about a time you diagnosed and resolved a major issue in an AI application, and what steps you took to get to the root cause and fix it?
Yeah, we were having some outage at Compose AI. We all of a sudden it stopped working, and we kind of had to look into it with the AWS on-call people as well, because there was quite a few sites down at the time. I think it was we traced it back to a Helm chart had not been pinned correctly. It had kind of automatically updated, so we had the fix was just to kind of pin our dependencies to make sure there's no kind of deployments going on when we're not involved. That was quite a tricky one because it involved some kind of low-level, networking between services and like a large Kubernetes cluster.
Yeah, a surprise Helm upgrade rippling through a big Kubernetes cluster is not a fun way to find out things weren't pinned. Thanks for walking through that, especially with AWS in the loop as well. Switching gears a bit, for this senior AI engineer role, what is your expected salary range? Just so we can see how that lines up with the budget on our side.
Maybe 150 to 300k in US dollars.
Got it. So you're thinking somewhere in the $150,000 to $300,000 range in US dollars. That's useful for us to know. If the offer ended up closer to the lower end of that range, would you still be open to talking, or would
definitely.
you really be targeting the upper end only?
Yeah, definitely anywhere in that range.
Thanks for clarifying that. That gives us plenty of room to work with. On timing, are you available to start more or less immediately, or do you have a notice period or other commitments you need to wrap up first?
I would need an O1 visa, which would take, 3 months minimum.
Got it. So realistically, you'd be looking at something like a 3-month timeline to get a new visa in place before you could start. I'll make sure to flag that timing to the hiring team. If it turned out they needed someone to start sooner than that, would waiting those few months still work for you, or would you be looking at other options in parallel?
I am looking at other options. I've probably got an offer coming through at some point soon. But
Okay,
if that's-
that makes sense. You'll keep options open and see how things line up timing-wise, especially with other opportunities in play. I'll pass that context along so they understand the visa lead time and that you're not standing still during it. Staying on the collaboration side for a moment, what's your approach to working with cross-functional teams, especially when you're in a more regulated or high-trust environment like healthcare or finance?
Yeah, I was a tech lead on a cross-functional team, which is a good example. We were not in a necessarily high-regulated space, but it was in journalism, so I think it's kind of quite positive to have that mix of skills in the team, and then it can kind of get you some autonomy, so you can kind of reduce the number of stakeholders involved and move quite quickly on things. We had our own testing and data engineering and data science kind of within that one cross-functional team. We were building recommendation systems. In highly regulated spaces, it was more tricky. Like say at Microsoft, we've got different GovCloud. There's many different solutions, and it kind of does impose. You just need to kind of pick the appropriate process for the business, really. Like we had to do a lot more testing there, and we did like responsible AI, so I was a member of that. We would review the documents basically of what we're planning to do to the systems and ensure they are safe, not misrepresenting any people, or they're going to correctly land across all geographies. That kind of auditing, so it's really just kind of picking the right processes that work for the business, really.
You've really seen both sides then, from fast-moving cross-functional product teams to that more formal responsible AI review process with documentation and audits baked in. That mix is very relevant here. Okay, so that was everything I needed to ask you from my side. I really appreciate how much detail you shared, especially around things like Network's custom kernels and monitoring agents you built. Before we wrap up, what questions do you have for me about the role, the team, or the company?
Yeah, so those three things basically. That's a good, yeah, let's go into each of those.
Gotcha. So you're curious about the role itself, the team, and the company. Let me take those one at a time, starting with the role. This senior AI engineer role is very much applied AI, not pure research. From what I've heard, the work is things like building and shipping LLM-powered features into real products, including RAG pipelines, tool-using agents, structured outputs, that sort of thing. Owning systems end-to-end, Python services, cloud deployment, monitoring, cost and latency tuning, reliability. Working closely with product managers and software engineers to turn "we think AI could help here" into a concrete, measurable feature. Does that line up with what you were hoping the day-to-day would feel like, or is there something more specific about the role you'd like me to go deeper on?
That sounds good. Let's talk about the team.
Nice. All right, team. From what I've heard, you'd be sitting with a group that's pretty squarely applied AI engineering rather than a separate research lab. So you'd be partnering closely with product managers, back-end engineers, AI architects, and data folks rather than working in isolation as the ML person. It's also a place that leans on people who can own things end-to-end, from prototype to production, including CI/CD, monitoring and reliability, which lines up quite well with how you've described your own work. What are you most interested in on the team side? Is it size and seniority mix, how decisions get made, or something else?
Well, let's go into those two, the size and the mix of skills and such.
Right, cool. Let me unpack those a bit. I don't have exact headcount, but the picture I've been given is you're not joining a giant 100-person AI org, and you're also not the lone ML engineer in a vacuum. It's more of a tight, senior heavy applied AI group that partners with product and platform teams. On the skills mix, they really look for people who can span strong Python and production engineering, hands-on LLM application work, prompt design, RAG pipelines, embeddings, retrieval, tool use, evaluation, comfort with cloud, containers, CI/CD, monitoring, logging, security, latency, and cost. Then around that, you've got product managers, software engineers, AI architects, and data product owners, so it's pretty cross-functional rather than throw-it-over-the-wall research. Is that the kind of environment you're looking for, or does it raise any concerns for you about where you fit?
Yeah, that sounds great. Cool.
Glad to hear that. That's good to know. On the company side, more broadly, the way people describe it to me is very focused on applied AI engineering in real, high-trust domains rather than doing research for its own sake. So things like healthcare or finance-style environments where reliability, safety, and customer trust matter a lot, and AI is woven into products with clear, measurable outcomes. They also emphasize partnering closely with other disciplines, so AI folks are embedded with product and engineering rather than off to the side. What else are you curious about on the company side?
That sounds good. I think I can do my own research from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. I'll let you dig in more on your own research then. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate you sharing your experiences and insights. We will be reviewing all candidates and will reach out soon regarding the next steps in the hiring process. I'll make sure to mention the work you described on Netruk and those custom kernels in search when I send this over to the team.